sacrificed so much, and so I really admired that about her.
All over the world, people gathered today, glued to the television, as Queen Elizabeth II was laid to rest, including at watch parties just like this one across the United States, with doors opening at 5:30 this morning so crowds wouldn't miss a single moment.
Well, millions of people tuned in for the live broadcast, but only 2,000 mourners were actually allowed inside Westminster Abbey, meaning there was a whole lot of behind-the-scenes moments that really none of us got to see.
We're going to share those with you, starting with some of the most powerful sights and sounds you might have missed in all that extensive coverage today.
Her late Majesty famously declared on a 21st birthday broadcast that her whole life would be dedicated to serving the nation and Commonwealth. Rarely has such a promise been so well kept. She was joyful, present to so many, touching a multitude of lives. Few leaders receive the outpouring of love that we have seen. The grief of this day, felt not only by the late Queen's family, but all round the nation, the Commonwealth and the world, arises from her abundant life and loving service. All who follow the Queen's example and inspiration of trust and faith in God can with her say, we will meet again.
There were so many memories from the ceremony and pageantry today. Out of all of that, one part really had people talking on social media. It was this handwritten card right here on the top of the Queen's casket. A representative from the royal family says it was from King Charles, who wrote, "In loving and devoted memory, Charles R." The R stands for Rex, the Latin word for king. The farewell note is part of a tradition at royal funerals. Elizabeth herself wrote a note for her late husband, Prince Philip, when he died last year. At Princess Diana's funeral in 1997, her son, Harry, wrote a note to his mummy.
Well, the line to see Her Majesty's coffin stretched for miles. She laid in state for 5 days, giving millions of people the chance to visit. People waited more than 24 hours to see her. All say it was just too important of an occasion to miss. They just wanted to pay their respects. Now, people came from all over, including a man from North Carolina. Brent Baldwin flew 8 hours to honor the Queen. He said he made plans right after her death was announced. He says the decision was not a hard one.
Because I respect the woman. I mean, she's an icon. She's one of the most iconic women of our lifetime. And I had to come pay my respects. I mean, I love the royal family. I mean, I took the time off of work and jumped on a plane and came over here. It's really amazing to see, because I don't think you would see anything like this at home for anybody. So, I mean, it's really amazing to see the national pride that the United Kingdom has for their queen. It's heartwarming and it's touching.
Well, Baldwin says he regularly visits the UK. The pandemic threw off those plans. He says this was his first trip back.
The Queen's pets also lined up for the funeral. Her black pony Emma and her 2 corgis watched the procession pass by. This was on the grounds of Windsor Castle. Prince Andrew will take over care of those animals. And leaders from all over the world attended the funeral. But because of the citywide lockdown to prevent traffic congestion, they had to take a bus together to the ceremony from another location. Everyone except President Joe Biden and the First Lady. Because of security concerns, they arrived using the traditional Beast motorcade with a scaled-down escort of only a handful of guards on motorcycles. The Beast is a limo that's fully armored. There's even bags of the president's blood type in case something happens. Now, there has been some backlash on social media, with thousands from Africa nations saying it was a double standard to let the U.S. president take his own car. And Biden's ride did get stuck in the traffic, causing him to arrive later than other world leaders. But CBS News says the Secret Service insisted that the president take the secure ride instead.
King Charles III now takes over the throne. He also inherits a massive fortune from the monarchy. The total pot, hundreds of millions of dollars. Our Verified team looks into whether he'll be paying taxes on that inheritance.
Before her death, Forbes estimated Queen Elizabeth II personally owned about $500 million in real estate, jewelry, investments, and other assets. Normally, when a person passes away in the UK and their surviving children inherit their assets, they must pay an inheritance tax of 40%. But some social media users claimed King Charles won't have to pay anything. So, let's verify. Is King Charles III exempt from inheritance tax? Our sources are the UK Parliament, His Majesty's Revenue and Customs, which collects taxes in the UK, and the royal family. For centuries, the monarch didn't pay any taxes. Queen Victoria began a trend of voluntarily paying some income tax during her reign, but that ended with George V. In 1993, amid criticism of the monarchy, Queen Elizabeth made an agreement with Parliament to voluntarily pay the nation's highest tier of income tax on her private income. In 2021, it was 45%. In exchange, the royal family would be exempt from a 40% inheritance tax. So, yes, King Charles III is exempt from inheritance tax. This means he does not have to pay 40% in taxes on the estimated $500 million estate he inherits from his mother. He also collects an annual payment from Parliament, which the Treasury Office says is not taxed. In 2021, the Queen received about $100 million tax-free. Charles is expected to voluntarily pay taxes on income from private investments and other personal assets. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Queen Elizabeth II's final resting place is at Windsor Castle, right next to her late husband, her father, mother, and sister, Princess Margaret.
Here's one last behind-the-scenes moment you didn't get to see in America. It was touching because it was the BBC's closing words for their coverage on the funeral.
She made history. She was history. Queen Elizabeth II is gone, but she will surely never be forgotten.